Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 is often referred to by many as the best superhero film ever made. Even today, after Infinity War and Marvel's Phase 1, that's a lot of films, you might even say an infinity amount. So yeah, even today there's an avid fan group that still, after 17 or so years, say that this film is the best superhero film ever made. And I am happy to say I am one of those people. There's many reasons to love this film. It has textbook pacing, thrilling action sequences, and decent performances. You'll believe these characters are real. Something the MCU largely fails at, and that's relatability. And for me, I think this is the reason I like this film so much. It's because it's a superhero I can believe in. It's something I can relate to directly. Peter Parker goes through issues that most people will go through in their lifetime, and that's things like relationship issues and financial worries, friendship issues, not being able to pay the rent on time. You know, these are all things that most people will come across in their lives, so it's instantly relatable when you watch it. As opposed to the MCU, where you got like, you know, I don't want to be too mean to the MCU too much, because there are films of theirs which I do enjoy. I highly enjoy. But yeah, in the MCU films, there is a point to make in comparison to Spider-Man 2, and that is that in the MCU films, they often quip off dramatic events in a Whedon-esque post-Avengers era sort of way, and that's not really something you see too much in the Raimi trilogy, at least in 1 and 2. It's more kind of like, nope, you know, he's having a shit time. Life's not good for Peter. He's not an empty seat. Punch him, he bleeds. He's fragile, just like a real person.
You don't, because you complicate things.
You don't understand. I'm not an empty seat anymore. I'm different. Punch me, I bleed.
And so yeah, that's what I want to talk about in this video, and I want to see if there's anyone else out there that feels the same way, that despite all the Doc Ock stuff, the Osborn stuff, this film is actually largely focused around depression and sadness and the pursuit of happiness. And that's why I think it's one of the greatest superhero journeys ever on silver screens, because it's a film about a superhero that faces something most of us can relate to. He faces depression. And it's something that sort of carries across in multiple Spider-Man entries, video games, comics, toys. This has nothing, I don't know, like, it actually doesn't carry across into toys, but during my research I found this picture of this Spider-Man toy with him in a Spider-Man car, a Spidey car, if you will. And I was just like, you know, it's cool and everything, but why does Spider-Man need a car? I don't know, I was like, no. Why does Sonic need a car? So join me on my magic beanbag as we discuss Spider-Man 2, a film about depression.
A Spider-Man does whatever.
What's amazing about Spider-Man 2 is that if you take all the superhero stuff out of it, it still makes a great drama about the need for happiness. That's what I believe is at the core of the film, especially in the first half of the film. In Spider-Man 2, Peter Parker's going through a rough time, like a really tough time. He's always late to class, he loses his job, people are hitting him in the face with bags. Aunt May might get evicted, his best friend hates him.
Brother.
And even his romantic life is pretty rough in this. Like, Mary Jane annihilates him in this film. She rejects him in front of the person who then accepts a proposal from her, and that he's working the event as a photographer, and then he's going to have to be the one to take the photo of them when they do wedding announcement in front of everyone, including his best friend that just slapped him in the face. Like, what? Like, what would you do in that situation? Like, oh man, if that was me, yeah, no, I'd probably just go into a corner and cry. Like, yeah. So back to Peter, and as he suffers, it is visibly noticeable. And he even has this one line, one of my favourite lines in any film ever, just because it's so relatable and I resonate with it so much.
Am I not supposed to have what I want? What I need? What am I supposed to do?
And that thing he wants is happiness, and he doesn't have it. He is in fact depressed. That's him admitting it to the audience. He can't have the things he wants, not when he's Spider-Man. And not only does it make him visually sad, but he also begins to lose his powers. His depression has a physical reaction, much like how someone with prolonged depression or anxiety can receive physical symptoms such as panic attacks. And in comes Ursula, one of the most underrated characters in the Raimi films, because of this scene right here. This tiny moment where she comes out of nowhere, unexpected, and offers Peter some cake is exactly what Peter needed. This small moment where she saves him with cake, as he would. And as the film progresses, Peter then seeks advice on what to do next after losing his powers. He speaks to a doctor about it all. And instead of the doctor giving him medication, he gives him advice, much like how a therapist might. And it is this advice that he gives which he follows in order to quit being Spider-Man and pursue his happiness. And when he does quit, it is then when he gets to class on time, and it is then when he has his second chance with MJ. He's visibly better, happier for now. And well, I hope you know how the rest of the story goes. It's been out for a while now. But in the end, he turns back to Spider-Man as he realizes he needs to be Spider-Man in order to save the ones he cares about. He's always Spider-Man. That is his responsibility, despite his need for happiness. And this is pointed out by Aunt May with another great, memorable line.
Even though sometimes we have to be steady and give up the thing we want the most. Even our dreams. Spider-Man did that thing.
So that's another great line that is incredibly relatable. It's like the film is talking to you as the viewer. It's telling you to be strong. This film is doing what most superhero films should do, and it's what they can do best, in my opinion, and that's inspire and be a feel-good film that inspires you to do good things and be a better person.
Everybody loves a hero. People line up for them, cheer them, scream their names, and years later they'll tell how they stood in the rain for hours just to get a glimpse of the one who taught him to hold on a second longer.
Honestly, the script in this film is fantastic. In these first two films specifically, Peter struggles with being both Spider-Man and Peter Parker. That's almost as much as a villain as the actual villains in the story. And in Spider-Man 2, it is these difficulties he faces of balancing both that become the core issues in his life during the first half of the film, before Doc Ock even shows up to be the more atypical villain, as opposed to, you know, just Peter struggling with his feelings. And even though I love this aspect, and this is the entire point of this video, I am like 100% fine with all the other stuff in it, because it's a great film and it's good in various areas. Like, it's top tier superhero film in my opinion. It has like the drama top tier, and then it has like the action top tier, and it comes together and it makes this really cool like top tier Spider-Man sandwich. It's a weird sound I'm making, yeah. And yeah, I'm just glad there's more to the story, especially just so we can have this incredible train sequence, which in my mind might be the best action sequence in any modern superhero film. And it was totally referenced to in the awesome Spider-Man PS4 game.
That totally worked last time.
And also in the stellar Into the Spider-Verse animated film. There you go. That's my interpretation why I believe Spider-Man 2 is one of the best superhero films ever made, but also why it's actually a really good film about someone dealing with sadness and depression. And yeah, by the end of Spider-Man 2, spoilers, but by the end of the film he manages to have both. He manages to be Spider-Man and be happy because he gets MJ right at the end of the film, and he's happy, at least for now, and which leads us into Spider-Man 3. But yeah, we're not gonna touch that one. like it. And there you have it. That's my first video on this channel. It's been a long time coming. Probably doesn't seem like it, but like I've put in a lot of work in this one video because I'd love to do this as a job. And the general idea is to cover things like video games and films, as most people do on YouTube, but I want to give it that mental health twist. As someone who personally has suffered with depression, and in order to raise awareness of it, but also just sort of approach certain things, certain games with that sort of angle. Yeah, so let me know what you think. Go easy on me on the comments down below. I don't even know if this take is going to be the one that gets used in the end, but I have filmed this so many times. And also, if I'm completely honest, I've also put this video off, just doing a YouTube channel, for a long time, just because it is quite an anxiety inducing thing. I actually originally came up with the idea for the Magic Beanbag YouTube channel last Christmas, and it's September at the time of filming, so yeah, it's been a long time coming. So yeah, alright, that's it guys. Until next time, stay happy. This has been my Magic Beanbag, and this has been a video about Spider-Man 2, a film about depression. Did I miss anything else?
Hey, where are all my comic books?
Oh, those dreadful things. I gave those away.